Hello, duelists, and welcome to the King's Courts. Now, here it is. I finally managed to get all the stuff I needed for my Yubel deck. Now, okay, close. There's one card missing, kind of. It's missing, but I'll go over that in a sec. So, when we get to it, I'll get to it. But basically, this is the same build. This is the build I've been messing around with. Now, if you've seen Yubel decks, there's obviously certain components that the deck plays, and so realistically, I'm basically still messing around with the build. But this is like, I guess he calls like the base for the builds, and it's a lot of fun. This deck is so much fun. I can't even lie. It is so hilarious. Just super polying all my opponent's stuff away. It's great, honestly. So, really quick, I wanted to get this deck out before. Well, then again, the next set's not going to be out for a while. But I wanted to get this out now because I'm going to be playing this deck here on the channel, just like I play Heroes. Heroes is always going to be the main, but I also wanted to add Yubel for a while, just because basically they're kind of linked together if you watch GX. So hey, close enough, right? So I'm going to go over the deck here, go over some strats, and also really quickly I'll go over some cards that you can actually play in the deck as well if you want to like switch out some stuff, because that's the cool thing about this deck. It's not just Yubel or Super Poly. This deck's practically like a Fiend toolbox deck. It's really, really cool. So, before we get to that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for future videos. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of the Yubel deck? Have you played it yet? What do you think of it so far? I think this deck is so much fun. I love playing this deck. Fusion decks in general are my favorite. I mean, obviously, I play Heroes. So the fact that this deck can not only is like very heavily fusion oriented, but also could do like some other stuff too. I can't wait for that new, oh my god, that Phantom of Yubel, that amazing new fusion that we're going to eventually get. Not sure when yet. And don't forget, in the next course that we also got that new Rank 10 Xyz monster to look forward to. I did a video talking about that. If you want to see that, I'll leave a link in the description. So, and also the new Grave Screamer, the new Field Spell. Oh my god, this deck is gonna get a huge Zenkai boost. I can't wait. So, enough of that. And for the record, like I said, I'm missing one card, just one. And this also would have been the build I was gonna play at my locals tournament, but for anyone who lives in the West would know, it was Easter Sunday, so my locals is closed that day. So hey, what can you do? But I've been playing this build a lot, both online, getting the combos right, and I've been playing this build IRL at my locals, getting some playtesting done. And if you want to see some gameplay of the deck and maybe even like a test stand video, let me know, and we'll do that soon too. So get to that right now. And just like always, let's start off with the main deck. Let's see. Okay. Now, obviously, if you've seen this deck before, you got to have 3 Spirit of Yubel. I'm amazed how much this card shot up in price. This deck is doing pretty good, actually, so I guess it's not that surprising. This card is amazing. Special summon it. You can basically, your opponent has to attack it. If you got the Yubel, if you got Nightmare Pain, you tribute it, destroy it, get the original Yubel, search out Yubel cards. It's great. This card is amazing. 3 Samsara D Lotus. These are pretty much right here the main cards right here of the deck. Like, well, I guess I'll skip a little bit ahead. So yeah, these and Nightmare Pain. These are like basically the 3 ofs right here. You want to run 3 of each of these, like no questions asked. Nightmare Pain is an amazing search card, and it's better than just a search card because your opponent. If for anyone who hasn't like fully seen the deck right here, go ahead, pause there so you can read it. But basically, Yubel monsters your. Let's see. Once per turn, while you control a Yubel monster, your opponent monsters that can attack must attack Yubel monsters. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving Yubel monsters. And since Yubel monsters can't be destroyed by battle, And Yubel themselves also burns your opponent for their monster's attack points. It's basically double right there. So it is just insane. This card is ridiculous. It's base and Samsara D Lotus. The fact that you can just tribute it off special, like the basic combo is tribute it off, go Spirit of Neo. I mean, I'm teasing saying Spirit of Neo, Spirit of Yubel, search Nightmare Pain. You can go off from right there. So, and the fact that it can also either you can add it back to your hand at the end during the end phase, or you can even special summon it back to your side of the field to tribute off for Yubel's effect, because that's like one of the issues with Yubel. You got to tribute a monster, but you can't tribute Yubel to get their effect off. So, because Yubel has to be destroyed by other card effects to get the effect off. So, hey, what can you do, right? So the fact that this can reoccur, it summon itself, and it's basically fodder. So these are the main cards you want to play 3 of. Let's see. Shoot, put these right here. That work. Next, 2-ups. 2 Dark Beckoning Beast. This card's really good. The fact that you can normal it, search it. Well, okay, this deck was a little bit out of order because there are a lot of cards in this deck that go together with specific cards. And this one goes together with opening of the Spirit Gates, so playing 2 each. For the record, little quick GX list. I really love opening the Spirit Gates because if you've seen the original GX anime, I love that this is basically a reference to the end of the first season with remember, this is the end of the first season with the Sacred Beasts. I think that's really cool. I love it. That's one of my favorite things about the Yubel cards. They all have so many references to the anime. It's great. I just think it's so cool, especially like the artwork for the new Yubel monsters, like Spirit of Yubel, and the fusion as well. We'll go over that when we get to that. But basically, you normal summon your Dark Beckoning Beast, search out your Spirit Gates, and thanks to the Dark Beckoning Beast, you get an extra normal summon, which is great because you can basically use that in combination with your Samsara D Lotus. Like I said, I'll do like a test stand video later on this week, probably. Most likely, yeah. So those two go together. Now, time for the best cards. The OG Yubel. I'm just going to say it, Yubel, best antagonist in GX. I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to be honest, I think Yubel might be my favorite antagonist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Period. Personally. And I'm just really happy that the deck is actually played, because if you're a fan of GX like me and you wanted to play a Yubel deck, back in the day you couldn't because this deck was garbage. So I'm just really happy that this deck is now, it's an actual full-on deck now. Just like how, let's be real, for a while heroes were used more for an engine rather than a full-on deck. And I'm just really glad in the modern day, even though Yu-Gi-Oh! Is sped up to ridiculous levels, I am glad that these 2 decks are like actually playable decks now. I'm just really happy about that. I'm just really smiling on because again, this deck is so much fun. Yubel Terra Incarnate. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people cut this card, and I can kind of see why. It can be a dead draw, real talk. But I really like being able to go into Yubel, the Ultimate Nightmare. I've seen other people's builds for the deck, and some of them I do understand why they wouldn't want to play it, but I just can't bring myself to cut it. I just love playing this card. So that's it for the OG Yubel cards. New one. Geist Grinder Golem. It's okay. I mean, if you're playing against a deck that, like, and your opponent is like very like they know what you're playing, so like they're trying to be a little more passive or something, or if you're playing against a deck that doesn't I don't know, like Runic or something. You know how that deck is mostly spells and traps. You know, this card could be good because you can just summon to your opponent's field. They got a big monster now, so now you got an attack target. Because that's the thing with this deck. The bigger the attack targets, the better. Like, against my friend's Red Dragon Archfiend deck, that deck is pure power, so it's been like a really good partner to play test against, because that deck is, like I said, it's pure power. So this card is okay. I'm gonna be real. It's probably gonna get cut when the new Grave Screamer and the new Throne Field spell card comes out. I'm definitely gonna be cutting this then. But For right now, it's okay. It can stay for right now. Okay, gotta go with the Unchained cards. The Unchained cards and the Yubel cards just go so hand in hand perfectly together. So, Unchained Soul Shavara and Unchained Soul of Shayama. I'm sorry if I pronounced any of these wrong. I'm sorry. I love these cards. One, dog's my favorite animal. I love dogs so much. If you've seen if you follow our social media, and if you don't, go check that out. I share pictures of me and Shell member Michael's dogs. We have 3 actually, German Shepherds and Husky mixes. So I love playing these 2 because I'm not gonna lie, they remind me of my dogs. That just makes me laugh. Amazing cards, honestly. Hand traps. Obviously, you adjust your hand traps to what you're playing at. Like if you're playing at a regional, you're probably much better off playing like D Shifter or something. But I'm just playing like mine for my locals. But again, it's always a player preference thing. You can change up your hand traps the way you want. Again, I'm just playing like the basic ones right now. 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Droll, but right now I'm probably going to switch to Nib if I'm going to be honest. And 3 Imperm. Probably will switch to Nib if I'm being honest, over Droll right now. Especially since Snake Eyes are still a thing. You gotta have Nib and like Ash or something to even remotely slow them down. And that's if you're lucky. That deck is pure gas. 3 Pot of Prosperity. Gotta love it. 3 of the best spell card in the deck besides probably Nightmare Pain. 3 Super Polymerization. Love this card. Basically the Fusion God stuff, basically. So man, I love playing this card. It's hilarious. My opponent building their field. All right, Super Poly. Oh man, it's great. 1 Mature Chronicle. It's okay. When you get it off, it actually is pretty good. So I'm not gonna lie, it's alright. But again, I'm probably just gonna. It's definitely gonna be cut when the new field spell comes out and Grave Screamer. So again, like Geist Grinder, it can stay for right now. 1 for 1, really good, honestly, in this deck. Called by the Grave, gotta always have Called by these days. 2 Eternal Favorite. I was playing it at 3, but it clogged up too much, so 2 is fine, honestly. I like it at 2, honestly. And Escape of the Unchained. For those Unchained combos. That's the entire main deck, actually. I'll go over some cards that you can play in the deck if you want after I go over everything. Alrighty, time for the extra deck. 2 Yubel, the Loving Defender Forever. I love the artwork of this card. Not only is it's Yubel, but it's basically referencing Flame Wingman, because before this Flame Wingman, Yubel didn't have that dragon head on their arm, but Flame Wingman does. So it's also a little sad because if you know the lore of Yu-Gi-Oh GX, it's because there are 3 main favorites. The 3 main favorites of the boy Jaden. One of them is Yubel, but also he still says Flame Wingman is still his favorite. If you watch the season 4 subbed that we never got, he's still so like it's trying to copy Flame Wingman because Yubel wants to be GX's. He wants to be Yubel's. It's really sad, honestly, but it's an awesome artwork. Basic Super Poly targets: 1 Garura, 1 Mud Dragon, Starving Venom Dragon, Predaplant Dragon still man, Dragon Stopella. I always mess up with that name. And right now I'm trying out actually the Earth Golem Adignister, primarily for against like Salamangrate, or let's be real, decks that want to like open up SP like Little Knight or IP. Realistically, it's a really good card in those situations. Gotta love the Super Poly targets, right? 2 Xyz. Obviously, 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. I feel like Chelmera Michael. In case you don't, if you're new to the channel, Chelmera Michael, he plays Cyber Dragons and Earth Machines, which I need to get him to do his Cyber Dragon deck soon. and Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut Libby. You could use Gustav, burn for 2k, go into this, swing for big damage. It's actually pretty. It can steal games, honestly. Okay, now this is the one card right here that, like I said, I'm missing. This is actually supposed to be King Yema. I don't mean from Dragon Ball. The Unchained Lord Soul of Yema. I think that's how the name is pronounced. This is supposed to be it, but the problem is no one of my locals has a spare for trade or sale or anything like that. And I hate ordering cards online, but I'm gonna probably have to just bite the bullet and just order it online. So that's supposed to be King Yama. I'll put a picture of it right here, but that's supposed to be it basically. But that's just if you want to play Abyss Actor as well, it's okay. It's not a bad card, but you gotta have King Yama. One Unchained Soul of Rage. Ironically, ran into a guy who had a spare of this. Go figure, right? One Nightmare Unicorn. One Phoenix. One Muckracker from the Underworld. And one Salamangre Almirage. For like when you normal summon your Dark Beast. Obviously, you could play at Little Knights. Realistically, if you're playing like at a big event, you're probably better off playing that. But I ain't spending that damn much on that fucking thing. No, thank you. So I guess, so yeah, that's the entire one. Like I said, this is supposed to be King Yama. I'm probably just again. I could have sworn I knew somebody who was playing Unchained, but he had like a spare. I guess he sold it already. I'm gonna have to get another one. Damn. All right, side deck. Like I said, I'm probably gonna switch out in the main deck, draw and lock for Nib. Probably gonna start doing that. Still run the 2 Lightning Storm, mainly for back row. Same with the Feather Duster. Still can't believe this card's at 3. Gotta love it, especially against Snake Eyes right now. 3 D Barrier. And 3 Anti-Spell. I probably might actually switch up the D Barrier for Summon Limit, but I'll wait for the ban. Let's see what happens, because who knows what's going to happen with that thing if we ever freaking get it, right? So that's the entire deck right there. Now, really quick, a few other cards I want to go over that you can play in the deck. Now, I've been experimenting with the deck a lot of different stuff. For the record, if you want to cut out, if you don't like Geist Grinder Golem or Spell or Mature Chronicle, you could just max out on the Dark Beckoning Beast and you're opening the Spirit Gates. You could just play both, max both those out at 3 if you really want. Food for thought. Let's see. A lot of the other Unchained cards, pretty much all the, basically the research I've done looking into different Yubel builds a lot of people have played. Other cards you could play that are Unchained, you could play Abomination. You could also play Anguish. Those are 2 options. I was main decking these, but I wanted to make room for this. But I really like maxing out Super Poly. But you also could play Abominable Unchained Soul. This card's actually really good, not gonna lie. And you even could play Chamber of the Unchained. So those are extra cards you could play in the deck if you want to mess around with the build. But again, always a player preference sort of thing. And really quickly, what I want to go over is if you want to lean more into the Fiend Toolbox engine. You could play an old school favorite of mine. You could play Tour Guide. And obviously the Fiendish Rhino Warrior. And you can actually do some really cool combos with Tour Guide into Rhino into King Yema. So, really quick, you could do that. So, basically, those are all the cards right there that you could mess around with and replace in the main deck, honestly. But again, it's always a player preference. Oh, and obviously, you could also play pre-raise map, but that's just like playing Hero Lives. You're paying half your life points. Gotta be careful. Then again, this deck can gain life points back thanks to Grinder Golem and all that. So, hey, that's an idea right there. So basically, those are all the cards that you could mess around with. Like you could cut out, like I said, the Geist Grinder and the Mature Chronicle. And if you really want, you could maybe cut down on also the pot and the super poly if you really want. But again, it always comes down to player preference. This is just like the basic build I've been messing around with and been using. But I'm definitely going to be making some tweaks to it as I go, just like I do with Heroes. And the deck is definitely going to get a huge Zenkai boost when the news when that new set drops. When we get the rank 10 monster, the new Grave Screamer, and the Nightmare Throne. That card is so cool. I love how that's a reference, another reference to the anime. It's a reference to the throne that Yubel has in season 3, right? The throne that they have, because when it's basically it leads up to that duel with Adrian Gecko. Man, that guy's like the worst character in GX. I'm not gonna lie, but that's the entire deck right here. So that's basically everything. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comments. What builds have you been playing, and what are the tweaks you think you could probably? I'd love to hear more. I'd love to hear more out. I'm still like, not like I'm still basically memorizing every combo and getting used to them all. Again, heroes I can play easily, but this I'm still getting the hang of this. So, if you got any advice in the comments, let me know, and let me know what you think. That's basically everything. And if you want to see me do like a test stand video, and you want to see some gameplay with the deck, we'll upload. We'll try to get some more of that recorded soon. And that's everything. Take care. Have a good week. Bye.